Well, welcome back. Jordan Jones and Emma Smith of Denver joining us now. How are we doing, guys?
I'm good. How are you?
Good. Well, we're excited for the PIO season. What would you say is the synopsis from the summer and just the preseason workout so far?
I would say obviously we got a lot of new people, but we have a really strong work ethic with this group, and we're just super excited. Got a good mix of experience with some newcomers. But yeah, just a really good team culture. Seem to be a lot like on the same page every day. I would say a lot of good team chemistry, and just super excited for when games start and we get to see that unfold.
Yeah, we heard from Coach Woods about the blending of the leadership group, but also the freshmen from a player's perspective. What's that looked like for you guys in the gym, out of the gym, getting all those new faces acclimated?
I think it's been a really smooth process overall. I would say our freshmen and all of our new people are really eager and really trying to learn, and I think they follow the kind of precedent that we've set as a leadership team really well. So I think it's been a really good process.
All right, Jordan, I'm going to ask the first question to you, and then I'll ask Emma probably somewhat of the same one. Because I asked Coach about Emma's game and some of the things that she has done, but talk a little bit about what your off season entailed. When you looked at your season a year ago and coming into this year, knowing that you have to have as big of a role, if not bigger, a lot of new faces, etc. What did you focus on when you went in the gym and said, this is where I've got to be better going into this season?
One of my main focuses was being in shape. So I did a lot of running in the off season.
So you can do Iron Woman minutes like Emma, right? Is that how this works?
Oh no, I don't know. I think she's got me beat in there. But yeah, that was one of my main focuses. And then kind of just working on my communication skills on the court. Trying to be a better leader, more supportive, more positive, and then also trying to clean up my turnovers on the court. Yeah, I struggled with that last year. So
well, decision making is a big part of it. Emma, Coach says that you spent a lot of time, maybe the focus on becoming more comfortable with the ball in your hands, being a little bit more of a playmaker. Talk about that as it entails with a lot of these new faces too, because sometimes you can put the ball in your hands, but then somebody else isn't in the right spot, and that can get frustrating. How have you worked through that, and what does that look like here as practice has come about?
Yeah, I would say it's definitely been an interesting process. I've gone through years and phases throughout my basketball career of being more of a point guard and then shifted to more of an off-ball shooting guard type of player. So it's kind of nice to get back to having the ball in my hands a lot and making those decisions. I would say that's the thing that I appreciate most about basketball is being in that position and being able to read the defense. And I think it took some time to kind of figure out the tendencies of some of these new players, but I think we were all kind of on the same string at this point, and I know what they like to do, and they can kind of tell where I'm going to pass it, what I'm thinking. It's definitely been a tough process, but a lot of communication off the court and in film sessions that is translated on the court pretty well.
And Jordan, Coach said you watch a lot of film. So I guess that would be, and you mentioned turnovers, and I think that's great because that doesn't happen for everybody where players are willing to sit and have to you got to kind of sit in the ick, so to speak, be like, oh God, I have to look at what I did wrong. You really want me to do this? That's not easy. When you do that and you see that, what has stood out to you so that you can be better on the floor, but then maybe also off the floor, whether it's in a huddle, on the bench, or even in the locker room postgame?
Kind of what I've seen while I've been watching the film.
Yeah.
I kind of just a big thing for me is kind of my body language. I've really been trying to work on that. I know it's basketball related, but not always. But yeah, so I would say that, and then kind of just the way I'm attacking, what I'm looking for on the court. I kind of when I'm watching the film back, I can kind of remember what was going through my head in a certain moment. So kind of rethinking that, trying to restructure it. I talk a lot with my coaches of what they're seeing and kind of the right and wrong decisions that we've made. So I would say that's my focus.
Well, body language is a huge part. Every young kid should be able to do that. So the fact that you can do it now, even in college, that goes a long way.
I'm trying.
Absolutely.
Definitely need some more improvement there, but it's getting better.
That's okay. That is A-okay.
Coach Woods mentioned that last year losing North Dakota State, you guys went back in the locker room and you're like, if you don't want to work, don't come back next year. How much motivation has been within this group, and also how have you seen that message that was sent in the locker room at the end of last season translate to this year in the work ethic that's been set from this team?
Yeah, I would say I've seen it unfold a lot. We have about half the team was in the locker room last year, and I feel like of those people that have returned, they all took that personal, and they knew that that was a standard that we wanted to set, especially as we becoming upperclassmen now. Obviously, the sophomores last year was a little more difficult to set that standard. But now that we've been here for 2 years, have that experience, it's been a pretty seamless process, I would say, from those people returning. And then the newcomers, I mean, they didn't hear us say that, but things of that same intensity as practice has gone on and we've had meetings in the summer, they're super ready to work. And even though they weren't there for that specific experience, I feel like we can all relate to that feeling after losing a game that you were in, and having those teammates that can push you in that spot, and they're all super willing to work and to be in that spot too.
What does success look like for this team this year?
I would just say winning more games. I think success can be measured in a lot of ways. I think we're taking a lot of the right steps in this preseason. So I think this will be like a good determinant of how we'll do for the season. Yeah, do you have anything to add?
I would say also just being a little more consistent. Like we think that we can play with anyone, but last year was more of a struggle on what night that would show up. So this year we really want to be consistent in our efforts, be more disciplined so that we're in every single game and there's never a game that we think we're out of. So I would say that, like, in a more consistent effort, more consistent score across all the teams in our conference.
I would agree.
Well, very well said. Jordan,
Yes,
Emma, thank you guys
absolutely.
so much for joining us, and best of luck up in Denver.
Thank you
so
guys.
much.
We
Thank
appreciate
you.
it.
Mhm.
All right, we'll be right back with Kansas City up next.